Alright, this is our geography project. Miles, EagUNit Stallings. Our topic is China, and we are in Hong Kong. And I am interviewing Steven Stallings, he's from China, about Chinese culture and other things. So why don't you tell me about Chinese geography?
Well, China ranges mostly plateaus and mountains in the west to lower lands in the east. In the east, along the shores of the Yellow Sea and the East China Sea, there are extensive and densely populated plains.
Really?
Yes.
Well, another thing I know about China, personally, Himalayas, the tallest mountain in the world. And that includes Mount Everest, the highest point in the world, right at 29,000 feet. And Chinese climate is, you can compare it to Indiana if you want, 30 degrees Celsius in summer, which is moderate, and the winters are Arctic cold. And there's been some droughts in Chinese in the past 100 years, which has led to poor agriculture. So China, they can't really depend on agriculture anymore. Do you know anything about Chinese language?
Yeah, there are also several major dialects within the Chinese language. The most spoken dialects are Mandarin.
Mandarin?
Yes.
Interesting.
Also, classical Chinese was the written standard in China for thousands of years and allowed for written communication to speakers of various intelligible languages and dialects in China.
Really?
Yes.
Do you know anything about like culture, like the Han Dynasty, for instance?
Well, hundreds of ethnic groups have existed in China throughout its history. The largest ethnic group in China by far is the Han.
The Han?
Yes. This group, however, is internally diverse and can be further divided into smaller ethnic groups that share similar traits.
Really? Something about the Han Dynasty, that's where Buddhism started. That's the official language, or the official religion of China. And it started in China, it spread all across India and all across Korea. And, it's pretty much the language of Central Asia. And, I know there's been some historical division in China. Can you tell me about that?
Yes. Territories occupied by different dynasties as well as modern political states throughout the history of China. Top-level political divisions of China have alerted and administrations changed.
Alright. Well, a lot of people ask about Chinese history. Well, China is one of the most ancient civilizations in the world. One of the most popular ones is the Shang dynasty. They went on for thousands and thousands of years. And they were the first culture to start predicting the future. And they used bones, and they used dirt to predict the future. And another dynasty is the Zhou dynasty from 1027 BC to 221 AD. And they emerged in the Yellow River Valley, which is the most fertile soil where they can have crops and stuff. And the king of the Zhou invoked the concept of mandate of heaven to legitimize his rule, a concept that was influential for most every successful dynasty. So a lot of other dynasties throughout Asia modeled after the Zhou. You know anything about over the last millennia, what's gone on?
No, I don't.
Alright.
You?
Oh, actually, I know something about the last 50 years.
Alright.
The last 50 years, kind of same for China, except World War II. And most people don't think about World War II, China being involved, but they actually fought Japan. And Japan surrendered to China October 1st, 1949. But unfortunately for China, Taiwan was politically separated from China after that. So China can't count on Taiwan for anything. They really don't like each other at all. And Mr. Stallings, thank you for letting me interview today. All right.
That's a wrap.